Let's assume there's a trade union that speaks for the workers in Neil's industry. How does the union affect wages? How would a government minimum wage affect Neil? To what extent would it help him? We can use our equations not only to calculate equilibrium, but the effects of disequilibrium also. Here we'll consider the effects of a 10% rise in wage rates, perhaps as a result of trade union pressure or the introduction of a minimum wage by the government. So the original weekly wage is 200 times 110 over 100, which is 22,000 over 100 equals 220. So that's the new equilibrium wage rate. Now that's going to have an effect upon the quantity of labour demanded. How much does the rise in the wage rate reduce the amount of labour that firms wish to buy? Well, LD equals 5,000 minus 12W. So LD is now 5,000 minus 12 times 220. So LD equals 5,000 minus 2,640, which gives us 2,360, down from its original 2,600 workers. The rise in the wage rate has reduced the quantity of labour that firms wish to hire. But there's also going to be an effect upon the supply side. How much does the rise in the wage rate increase the amount of labour that people are willing to supply to the market? Well, LS equals 2,000 plus 3W. LS is now, given the wage rise, 2,000 plus 3 times 220. So LS equals 2,660, up from its original 2,600. Extra workers are drawn into a willingness to supply labour because of the higher wage rate. So what's the effect on employment now of this 10% wage rise? The excess supply of labour is the difference between quantity demanded and quantity supplied. 2,660 minus 2,360 equals 300. We have an excess supply of labour per period, partly because the increased wage caused an increase in LS, partly because the increase in W caused a decrease in LD. However, the number of workers who will actually be made unemployed is the old equilibrium LD minus the new LD. 2,600 minus 2,360 equals 240. So we can expect that some people who were working in the industry will no longer have a job. So we can use simultaneous equations to examine labour market equilibrium, but they're also useful for establishing the effects of disequilibrium